So in this video, we're going to go over the top 8 places to live in the Charleston area according to locals. Now, one of the questions I get a lot is, what are the good, safe areas to live with the good schools? And while I can't legally answer that, lucky for you, people online did. So we went to niche.com and we looked at the ratings for all the different areas in Charleston, and these are the locals' top 8. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Bill Olson, your favorite YouTubing Charleston realtor. And today we're talking about the top 8 areas around Charleston to live as ranked by locals. Now, like I said earlier, I'm not really allowed to talk about schools and crime and what's a good or a safe neighborhood. Now, this is because years and years and years ago, years before I was even born, there was a lot of unethical realtors out there who would steer people into neighborhoods that they thought they fit based on their demographic or religion. So we're not allowed to talk about that. But lucky for you, other people online do talk about that. And we know when they get online, they are brutally honest. So let's get into this rankings. So quick disclaimer on this, of these top 8, on niche.com, I actually left out 2, and that was Isle of Palms and Sullivan's Island were numbers 2 and 3 respectively. The reason I left these out is because they're beach communities and they're very specific. So I wanted to go more of a broad picture where people are, everyday people like you are actually moving. We're going to start with number 8 and work our way back to number 1. And number 8 is North Charleston. Now, 235 people have left reviews on North Charleston, and this is what they ranked it. Schools were a B, housing was a C+, good for families was a B-, crime was a C-, and nightlife was an A-, and that gives it an overall ranking of a B. Now, if you live in or you're from North Charleston, like, how do these rankings match up? Let us know down in the comments. Now, another thing about North Charleston, it is the most centrally located area in the greater Charleston area, right between the peninsula and Summerville. And it's home to some of the largest employers in the area, with Joint Base Charleston, Boeing, Bosch, and the International Airport. Now, home prices in North Charleston are some of the most affordable in the area, with the average prices for a single family home being between $325,000 and $375,000. Next on the list, we have Ladson at number 7. Now, if you've never heard of Ladson, that's because it's not actually a town or a city. It's a census designated district, and it is directly between North Charleston and Summerville. Now, it's only about 7 square miles with a population of about 15,000. So it's a pretty densely populated area. And when we look at the rankings, I'd say it's the most average straight across the board. We have schools with a B, housing B+, for families is a B+, and nightlife is a B-. This gives us an overall rating of a B+. Now, housing here is going to be extremely similar to the prices in North Charleston, with your averages being between $300 and $350. Number 6 brings us to one of the most popular places that people move, and that is Summerville. Now, Summerville is extremely popular because of its schools, and we'll see that it is the first one on our list to have an A- rating for those schools. Now, a little history lesson here. Summerville is called the Flower Town in the Pines, and it got this nickname because of the abundance of flowers and pine trees. But the nickname came from a contest in 1925 where the winner not only got $5 whole, but now that slogan is still being used nearly 100 years later. And there's even the Flower Town Festival at the end of March, beginning of April, which is the state's largest arts and crafts festival. And they also claim to be the birthplace of sweet tea, but depending on who you ask, it's kind of up for debate. When we round out these rankings, we said that the schools were an A-, and that's the Dorchester District 2 school district. And then we have housing is a B, for families is a B+, crime is a C, nightlife is a B, and overall we are at a B+. The average prices in Summerville are going to be a little bit higher, at a 375 to about 425,000. And there's a lot of new construction going on in Summerville. It's one of the fastest expanding areas because they have the most land. Now, with those prices, you can get much higher when you're looking in places like Nexton. You're probably going to look at $600,000, $700,000, maybe $800,000 for a new home in there. Now, Summerville is extremely popular for people that are working up in the Ridgeville area at either Volvo or the new Redwood facilities. All right, so I know what you were probably thinking, for all you Charleston purists out there, that not all these areas are actually Charleston, and you are correct. However, we're doing the greater Charleston area in this because when people move and say they're moving to Charleston, that could mean anywhere in Charleston, Dorchester, or Berkeley County, which is why we are including all three. Getting into our top 5, we have the most populous city in Berkeley County and the 7th most populous city in all of the state of South Carolina, and that is Goose Creek, sitting right on the Cooper River. It is also home to the Naval Weapons Station. Now, when we get into the rankings, 146 people ranked Goose Creek on niche.com, and here's what they had to say. We have a B for schools, a B for housing, a B plus for families, crime got a C, nightlife got a B plus, and that gives it an overall rating of a B plus. Average home prices in Goose Creek are going to be between $300,000 and $325,000, and because of that, along with the next area on our list, I think the most overlooked places to move where you can find some great value. So what is that number 4 that you're probably asking? Well, that is going to be Hanahan. So Hanahan's a small bedroom community with some neighborhoods with access to tidal water. You have access to the Cooper River into the Charleston Harbor, and also the Goose Creek Reservoir for kayaking and fishing. So as you can imagine, water sports are kind of a big part of life if you live in Hanahan. I mean, they're kind of a big part of life everywhere here in the Low Country. And there's also a lot of outdoor activities where you've got the Hanahan Amphitheater, where you're gonna have community theater, concerts, movies in the park, and all sorts of community events happening there. But enough of what I have to say. Let's hear what the 37 people who ranked it on niche.com had to say. We've got a B plus for schools, B for housing, B plus for families, a C plus for crime, a B plus for nightlife, and that gives us an overall ranking of an A minus. To me, the biggest surprise here was the nightlife, because Hanahan being a bedroom community, there's not really much within Hanahan. So if you go out in Hanahan, I don't know many people that do, like, let us know in the comments, like, where are the hot nightlife spots in Hanahan that got it that rating. As for housing prices in Hanahan, your average home price for a single family home is going to be between $400,000 and $425,000. So number 3 is an area that is pretty near and dear to me. It's where I'm currently raising my family. And if you've watched this channel, you know I'm talking about James Island. Now, James Island is the sea island located between Folly Beach and the Charleston Peninsula. So you have easy access to both of those things. Now, it is pretty densely populated and built up, but even though it's built up, it's still an older area. So it's not as commercialized as areas like Summerville or Mount Pleasant. And being an island, if you're looking for water access, there's going to be plenty of it. But enough about what I think. Let's get into what the ratings say. For schools, James Island got an A B for housing, an A for families, and a B for nightlife. And that leaves James Island with an overall ranking of an A. Now, home prices on James Island are getting a little bit more expensive compared to the other areas, where we're gonna have an average home price between $600,000 and $650,000. Now, what you're gonna see on James Island, since it is an older area, is a lot of ranch style homes that were built in the 50s and 60s, but you can also find some newer homes and some historic homes that sit right on the water and even overlooking the Charleston Harbor. Coming in at number 2, we have the actual city of Charleston. Now, yeah, the city of Charleston encompasses the peninsula, West Ashley, parts of James and Johns Island, and Daniel Island. But after reading through quite a few of the over 700 reviews that were on niche.com, most of them did concentrate on the peninsula and West Ashley. So that's what we're gonna use for the sake of this video. But let's get into those reviews. For schools, we had a B+, housing was a C+, families an A-, crime was a C, nightlife was an A+, and that leaves the city of Charleston with an overall ranking of an A. Now, of course, the two things that stand out in these rankings to me are the nightlife at an A+ and the housing at the C+. Now, of course, the nightlife is going to be the highest because that's taking into account the downtown peninsula area, which is a very touristy area where you're going to find all of your restaurants, bars, and frankly, just all the nightlife in the area. And then the housing at the C+ comes from the housing on the peninsula, where you're going to have south of the connector, your average home price is going to be about 1.4 to 1.5 million. When you get north of the connector on the peninsula, that does drop to around 750,000. But when we head over into West Ashley, you're looking at an average home price between 525 and 575,000. Now, when it comes to West Ashley, it should be noted that, like most areas, the closer you are to downtown, the more expensive things are going to be, and actually the older the homes are in West Ashley. One of the really popular neighborhoods in there is Avondale, which has a lot of really cool local bars and restaurants and shops. But if you're looking for something maybe a little bit newer and lower priced, you're gonna have to move outside the 526 loop to find that. So we've made it to number 1. And by now, if you're watching this, you've probably already guessed what's going to be number 1. And if you said Mount Pleasant, you would be absolutely correct. Now, Mount Pleasant is ranked number 1 for a ton of reasons. Its proximity to downtown, it has proximity to 2 of the 3 main beaches in Charleston, and as we'll get into the rankings, it has the highest rated schools. So let's see how 164 Mount Pleasant residents ranked Mount Pleasant. So we talked about schools having that A+ rating. We have housing at a B-, families A, crime B-, nightlife A-, and all of that combined gets us to our only overall A+ ranking on this entire list. Now, one of the things that kind of surprised me a little bit was that B- for the housing costs, because the average price in Mount Pleasant is $1 million. So you would think that with that being the average cost, that ranking might be a little bit lower. However, when people are moving into Mount Pleasant, they already know that they're going to be paying a premium to live there. So it didn't come as much of a shock like it would in some other areas. So there you have it, folks. Those are the top 8 places to live in the greater Charleston area as ranked by the locals. Now, if you're looking to move to, from, or around the greater Charleston area, I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. Again, my name is Bill Olson, and I am your favorite YouTubing Charleston realtor. You can reach me at info@livinginchs.com, or you can click the link down in the description because I've got it. You can jump right on my calendar and schedule a call. Look forward to seeing you on the next video, and have a great one.